Euros is a proudly Western Australian firm focused on building long-term wealth for local businesses and families. Euros aim to provide clients with leading wealth creation solutions that encompasses proactive investment advice, financial planning and portfolio administration. Euros Securities Executive Director and passionate Freo fan Lucas Robinson will help you kick more investment goals than you can poke a stick at and is the man you must speak to ASAP. So if you feel like your investments require restump, rewire, replumb, give Lucas a call on 0894881424 or email on lrobinson@euros.com, that's EUROZ.com, for a free financial health check. Because you should always let the cobblers do the cobbling, and as a cobbler, Lucas makes a damn fine investment advisor.
Hello and welcome to episode 27, season 4 of the Purple Rain, brought to you by Euros. Oz. Euros. Mate, it's last game of the season, but...
It's been...
Oh, mate. Oh, well, season's over.
Yep.
What an interesting season in the end. The highest highs and the lowest lows. Another kind of season lamenting in the middle to bottom table.
You can't say that hasn't been an interesting season, Doug.
No, you definitely cannot say that, mate. Well, there's been some highs on our end, mate. We've gone from a couple of battlers to doing some stuff with the Dockers, mate. We've gone from being on the outer to right in the inner sanctum.
Oh, we're getting the dirty ball, mate.
Mate,
in and under,
and yeah, man, it's been what a season. So we're not finishing 13th with 9-13, 9 wins, 13 losses, mate. If we went with the Duff mark, as we like to call it, the 72 points.
Yep.
I figured this today, we would have gone 9, 11, and 2. We actually would have ended up in the exact same position. We would have been 13th, despite getting two draws, which would give us a 4 more points. We still would have had the lower percentage and still would have finished 13th.
Who would have been the draws with? Sorry to put you on the spot. Cause
I think we lose a game and we go back against Brisbane. We would have drawn because
so
I think
that
it was
wouldn't have affected the
73-72.
That doesn't affect the table.
And we would have drawn another one that we won, I think, or we lost.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It's not that big a deal, mate. But it was 2 games we would have lost. We would have drawn, I think.
Yep.
But anyway, mate, let's get into the game and the good, the bad, and the dockery. Well. The Dockers, 10-7, 67. Defeated by Port Adelaide, 15-20, 110 by 43 points. A little bit of a shellacking, especially considering in the first half we kicked 5 goals. 5-1 in the first quarter, which was quite good. I think we ended up on... we'll talk about that. But I thought in the first quarter, Blakely looked really good in the guts, and Chera looked quite good across the half-back flank in the first quarter. First half, Langdon dominated with 20 disposals and 2 goals. After that, I think he got 5 touches, but that's all right. Huge Dick, a.k.a. the Milky Wizard, I believe he's known as, around the traps. The Milky Wizard, he was solid. He wasn't outstanding. He was solid. He may have a bit of a future in him, the Milky Wizard.
Did you see his kicks?
Yeah, they were good.
He hits targets.
Mate, yeah, he's got good targets.
Why is it taking so long to get him in the side?
Well, I mean, the whisper was that Ross really liked him, wanted to get him in. The
correct.
match committee said no. So, look, a little bit interesting there. But, we look at Peel stats every week, mate. He wasn't setting the world on fire. And I think if this was a live rubber...
Some of the other guys getting in, mate.
Yeah, but I feel like if this is a live rubber, does he play? Maybe yes, maybe no. Darcy went out with a concussion, which I find quite interesting. That's what they were saying on the footy. So... I don't know when or where he got that concussion from last week. Like, I can't remember any concussion.
I feel like it could have been a Docker moment at training.
Maybe.
Delayed concussion from when he got knocked out from when he kicked the ball in the post and it hit him in the head. Delayed concussion.
4 weeks, a month delayed. I thought, speaking of Big Hodor, I thought Big Jones was quite solid. 24 hit-outs, 14 disposals and 5 clearances. Held his own a bit, the big fella, in terms of that lumbering ruckman style that we like to have. And you never know, mate, but start of next year, if you hear the rumours that Geelong are interested in Darcy, Jones could be our number one ruckman going into.
Yeah, it could be.
I actually, mate. This is one of my theories is that having a supreme ruckman, like the best ruckman in the competition. Okay. Now last year you had Grundy and Gawn made it into the preliminary finals. Sanderland's never won anything. Goldstein hasn't won anything. Newey is yet to win a flag.
He's second coming across, though, according to a lot of media guys.
Have a look back through. Having a dominant ruckman is good, but is it as important as other people think? I think it's somewhere that realistically you can, a bit of money ball it, and you don't need a big ruckman. So maybe Jonesy might be the way forward.
Well, first of all, with Jonesy, I think he could be the oldest 24-year-old looking.
Oh, mate, looks so old.
I wonder if he was born, he actually came out looking like that.
How's this? We had the argument because Jones and Meek are both off contract at the end of the year. And I was like, look, I think they'll re-sign Jones. I don't know what they'll do with Meek.
Have you seen him in the same place at the same time?
Well, Meek and Jones, mate, their age, like, I think, shout out, JD said, well, Jones is like 28 and Meek's like 24. Jones is 24 and Meek is 21. So, look, very interesting going forward. Mate, Fife was solid again.
Brownlow.
26 disposals at 69%. 1 goal, 1, 2 goal assists, 5 straight involvements, 5 marks, 3 of those marks inside 50, 5 clearances, 3 inside 50s, 2 rebound 50s. Look, is he a sniff for the Brownlow?
Oh, you better believe you.
Now, Oz.
Bottom on that.
Bottom dollar. Why, can I ask you this, Oz? During this bye round, now that everything's said and done, Now that we know that there's nothing going on,
yes.
Why isn't All Australian, AFL Coaches Association, AFLPA, and the Brownlow Medal, mate? And I'm putting this to you, Oz. The Brownlow Medal should be on a Saturday night. Saturday night, mate. Should be on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
During the bye round. Everyone watch it, and guess what, mate? It means you can have a few tins. You can do a bit of a sweepstake drinking game.
Now, going back to your original question, Duck. Everyone is calling for this, bar the AFL. Do you know why? Because it's the only time they can stick that lousy EJ Witten's game that has zero meaning, apart from some charity, and that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, charity's great. But this, if you're serious about the well-being, and if you're serious about
make it on a Friday night,
the
mate.
intent, but why do you have...
Friday night, Saturday night. One of those nights, the Brownlow Medal should be on. It would be an absolute ratings.
I just don't get why they have the Brownlow night in the week of the grand final. I mean, traditions, I know it's a tradition, but doesn't mean it's a good tradition.
Mate, once upon a time, not that long ago, no one went to the Brownlow. They just went, oh, yeah, you won it, mate. Cool.
Yeah.
That was it. End of. Anyway, it's something that really...
Well, mate, if your auntie had whiskers, she'd be your uncle. But,
yeah, exactly. Mate, let's get into some bad because there was a fair bit of it. Quarter 2 and quarter 3. Port Adelaide scored 8-13. The Dockers 1-5, so that was great. And our one goal was from our one entry inside 50 in the third quarter.
Not ideal.
Banners. And he nearly kicked it through the line. Classic Banners. Couldn't get out of day 50. Small ball movement. Slow ball movement even. Slow ball movement in the day 50 or bombing it out. That was classic. Mate, how about this for some efficiencies? And we love the old 60%. Now, we went at 67%. Cam Mack, 16%. Crowden, 50. Walters, 52. Brayshaw, 56. Jones, 57. And Switkowski, 58. Mate, Brayshaw looked like he was waiting for the end of the season.
Yeah.
Mate, there was a couple of efforts by him. I was just
battered.
Holy Mary.
Battered.
Mate, let's get into some Dockery stuff because I've got some Dockery things to talk about here, and it came out in Saturday's West, mate. How about these names, and how about their kicking or their disposal efficiency?
Is this pre or post floodgates? Because I reckon the efficiency went.
I think some of the efficiencies may have gone down even more. So
go.
This is some Dockery stuff. Since joining the club, Conker has gone down from 68% to 63% disposal efficiency. Wilson from 79.7 to 73.3. Matera, 71.6 to 60. Hamling.
He had no one to kick it to a Gold Coast.
Hamling, 89.7 to 82. And he hangs on to it way longer now that he's at Dockers. Lob, nothing much to talk about there. He's gone down 0.1%.
Oh.
Hogan down from 66% to 62%.
And he played
Cam Mack, from 68% to 55%.
Got to be able to get the ball to kick it.
Collier, 67% to 62%.
Not ideal.
And Brad Hill, 72 to 66%. So that idea of disposals and skills being a problem, that's really got me licking my lips, mate, because we are stinking it up and we need to improve our skills big time. Mate, we'll talk about Duffield's rankings actually in a question. All Australian, mate. Brad Hill missed out. That was quite interesting in the Dockery scheme of things.
That's a statement.
Sonny and Fife. Great that they got in.
Bit of a statement, I reckon.
Now, mate, can I ask you this, bud? This is my favourite. Okay, so the AFLPA MVP nominees were Fife, Hill and Sonny. So you get 3 from each club.
Yeah.
Most courageous, Hughes, who I think Hughes has been pretty courageous this year. Now, mate, I want you to guess who was nominated for Best First Year Player from the Fremantle Dockers.
I feel this is very Dockery Docker. Is it a Dockery Docker thing?
Yeah, that's why it's in the Dockery moments.
So the best first year player?
Yeah.
It's either going to be Adam Chera or Brayshaw.
No. Or definitely a first year player.
Oh, so it's a legit first year player.
It's a legit first year player, although that is quite humorous. So
no
they
one
don't,
knows- yeah,
they
don't
don't
know who
even
we
give
are.
us
Yeah,
a... Yeah, they're like,
There this goes. Legit first year player. We've only really... Well, we haven't really debuted anyone. Oh, hang on. Schultz.
Yeah. No, I thought you'd never guess it, mate.
Come on.
Best first year player.
Come on.
So I guess the choices were,
He's
but
got
when
a
you
good
think
effort.
about it,
Brings good effort. Great effort.
Tobe Watson didn't play. Valente didn't play. Carter played 2 games. Sturt didn't play. Who else got drafted last year? O'Reilly didn't play. Bewley played. And Schultz. So you got the choice between Bewley and Schultz, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
It's like the old South Park episode, mate. The giant douche or the turd sandwich. Who you vote for? Like, seriously, mate. I mean, this is one of the things. I know we've got a good batch of youngsters coming through.
They're both hungry
but
for the
for your
contest.
best first-year player to be Lockie Schultz, what do you reckon his odds are of winning it, mate? 1,000,000 to 1?
Well, look, if I'm not a gambling man, but if I was, I'd probably put him at about 200 to 1.
Well, when you looked at the other teams, it's like Sam Walsh, Ben King. Makes you wonder. Guys, we'll talk about Duff's rankings and his grades in our listeners' questions coming up. But I tell you what, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Anyway, let's get to a break. When we come back, we've got Peel Talk and a couple of questions.
New song, Duck. This one's called Postmodern Freo. Come on. Come on, Duck. Have you ever had problems with computers, mate? Look.
Every day of my life, mate, is a problem with the computer.
Well, you know what, mate? I've got a solution for you, buddy. Just Make It Work will take care of all your IT problems and help you use technology to reach more people, make more money and waste less time. You can relax knowing you're in the hands of real Dockers supporters. Get on to jmiw.it, call or email and mention the Purple Rain for 20% off your first project with Just Make It Work, Duck. I suggest you get around it.
Welcome back to episode 27, season 4 of the Purple Rain. with Duck and
Purple
Oz.
Rain.
Oz.
Very quickly, just on behalf of Duck and myself, just want to say a massive thank you to all of the supporters who really put out a a special message of love on the pod, just to really say thanks for doing it. We enjoy doing it. I know I love it. It's part of my therapy. I know for Duck it is too. We love sitting down and really going into it and making ourselves feel better about who we are, because otherwise, Blackwall Reach or whatever it is. But look, I also want to say a massive thank you to Just Make It Work and Lucas Robinson at Euros, because they've been our mainstays now for the past couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And have allowed us to really step up the professionalism with a lot of things that we have floating around here. Got a couple of mics, got our setup, got the red box. So on behalf of the Purple Rain, thanks for everything, and we'll keep going because we love it.
Yeah, and get around them, guys, if you can. Very important with our sponsors that you, if you can get around them, that would be great, and they'll get around us even more. And to Lucas and Martin, thank you very much for supporting the show. Very, very generous with your time and your donation to the Purple Rain, and guys as well, all those listeners that are out there. Like, we've had probably the biggest year at the Rain, if not, one of the biggest, couple of things happened to us in terms of the Dockers coming on board with the Purple Patch. And I managed to run into Luke, the head communications guy down there, and shout out to you, Lukey. I know you love listening to the show and all the times that we misquote things and mispronounce things and stuff like that. But look, we really want to move forward and getting the player interviews and things like that, because I know the listeners love that stuff. And maybe we'll do a little bit of a Twitter poll or something like that to see which player you'd love to see us interview, guys, because we just want to provide an insight into the Dockers and the players. And I know one, Connor Blakely, we might get him on the show soon to have a chat about how his season's been and how he think he went and things like that and moving forward. And it's been a big year down the club, mate, to be honest. And
huge.
Well, let's just say when we started the pod, we didn't think this would happen, but it was kind of like a pipe dream, wasn't it, Oz, to think, maybe like the Dockers will.
I thought we'd be in contact, probably through legal means.
Yeah.
Cease and desist. But,
All right, Oz, let's get into some appeal talk, big fella.
This one hurts, Duck.
Yeah, the mighty
and I'll
Red
tell you
Legs,
why it hurts, mate, because the mighty Red Legs, my mighty Red Legs, all I had to do, Duck, was get a result. To end 21 years of suffering for Demons fans.
Yeah.
21 years, Duck.
All they had to do was
all I had to do was
go down and play Peel. Got nothing to play. I mean, it was Jared Ugel's 100th game.
Yep.
Club captain and inspirational leaders of Peel. But, mate, and you reckon, Oz, you wouldn't believe this, but you think that obviously, all Perth have to do is win, and it doesn't have what impact does that have on you, Duck? Well, guess what, mate? The commissioner of my NFL fantasy competition is one Eric McKenzie. He's associated with obviously the West Coast Eagles still. So we have to delay the draft potentially because he's got goddamn waffle game, mate. With the not East Perth, the West Coast reserves.
Yeah.
We got my man Chad Flint, Chaz Flint, who is playing for the Eagles reserves, but also is a mighty UFC man. Uni footy.
Yep.
We've got finals on the weekend, mate. We wouldn't mind having the dingo back, but no, he turned up, mate. He got like 25 touches. Anyway. Mate, let's get into Peel talk. What actually happened? We're not talking about West Coast reserves today, mate. We're all about Peel.
So the mighty Peel Thunder, 12-12-84, snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, defeated the Redlegs 12-9-81 in what can only be described as an absolute stunner of a game. It went down to the wire. Boy, oh boy, did it just. Let's go straight to the Freo listed players. And if I'm looking at the disposals, Duck, because that's what we're going by here, Bewley just racked them up like it was going out of fashion. 32 disposals, and obviously the weight of numbers really helped him there, and really in his wheelhouse with his big disposal count. Tommy North racked up 20 disposals. Couldn't crack the Freo side in the first 2 years, so hopefully let's see him, maybe have a dip next year.
Well, hopefully gets another contract, maybe.
Hopefully he gets another contract.
I don't know if he's contracted past this year.
Yeah, so they're the top two Freo guys. So they'll rank 1 and 3 for disposals, and then you would go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tobe Watson at ranked 7 at 17 disposals, and then you go down another 8, and then Lockie Schultz had 12 disposals. 5 inside 50 is pretty decent.
You missed over one guy, mate. The man of the moment.
Sam Sturt.
Sam Sturt.
Yeah, Sam Sturt, who had 13 disposals. Sorry, one more disposal, and he had 3 goals.
3 goals.
So,
the goal right at the end with in the 25th minute of the match, mate.
Do you know why I missed him out, Duck? Because that was exactly the reason I missed him out. So
sorry, mate. Stealing your thunder.
Thanks for shoving it in my face. And for the Redlegs, you know, if you're Ruckman Christian there, shout out Christian. How you going? Good cat. Good roll, by the way, TC. Good man. 56 hit-outs, mate.
Jeez.
56 hit-outs. Couldn't get the benefit from those 56 hit-outs. And I'll just quickly go to another good young man from TC by the name of Cody Leggett.
Had a shot.
1 goal, 1 behind.
With 30 seconds
30
to go in the
seconds
game.
to go. He'll get over that. He's a big kick. Big kick. And now I'm going to go and cry myself to sleep.
The Redlegs, mate. All right, guys.
21 years!
Getting the listeners' questions, mate. We start with one from Ian Thompson about Ross Lyon's dismissal. And he's actually sent this to us via our website, purplerainpodcast.com.au. I think that's the website. Mate, we don't even know our own web address. But, guys, if you want to hit us up on
Kingsley,
that, just remember we can't reply to you because it's an email sent from our own email. It's like, whatever. But if you want to put your email down below, we can reply to you in your thing. But this from Ian Thompson about Ross Lyon's dismissal.
Oh, yeah, go.
Hi, guys. I'm a strong Ross Lyon supporter, and I was left stunned by his dismissal. Your superb Purple Patch podcast on Friday helped me move on and become forward-looking. Then I viewed the video clip of Dale Orcott, and it returned me back to a state of anger. Didn't like the Dale Orcott video, obviously. In his 3 media clips I've seen Orcott explaining the decision, he seemingly has distilled the reason for the decision as a slogan as "We listen to you and acted." He also states he'd received a number of members supporting since the decision was made. As a member, Alcott. I do not speak. Alcott does not speak for me. I wonder who was Alcott listening to? Is it the talkback callers? Is it the West Australian riders who are unleashing a relentless barrage against Ross with a clear end game as its objective? Was it Brad Hardy who has been unrelenting and vicious and obsessive with his hatred of Ross? His claim that the Lyon dismissal was one of the best days of his life was both illuminating and sad. Acting on this abuse, Alcott's decision to dismiss Lyon is a sign of weakness, not strength. Alcott claims that it was unacceptable to have missed the finals for 4 straight years. It was my understanding that the board had agreed to a substantial list rebuild. These list rebuilds are lengthy, extremely fraught, and place intense pressure on the club. I was wondering whether Alcott agreed with the rebuild. How long does he believe the rebuild should take? And what impact does our injury toll have on the failure of the finals, of making the finals this year? And this is a great point I love from Ian. A rebuild has proven to be very grim consequences for coaches involved. Pagan's involvement in Carlton destroyed his coaching reputation. Wallace, Knights, Lepich, Bolton, Richardson will never hold another head coaching position. Ken Hinkley is struggling to hold on. It is only the strength of the leadership at Richmond and Collingwood that prevented the dismissal of Hardwick and Buckley. In the year after they faced the sack, both led their respective clubs to grand finals. Lyon has been strong in his clear thinking. Has been a strong and clear thinking leader during Freo's rebuild. He has been able to express clarity about what is being undertaken, describing why we won and lost, and highlighting areas where improvement was needed. He has never separated himself and blamed the playing group. We never heard the claims that no player effort that comes from other clubs, and I always felt in safe hands listening to Ross Lyon's match press conference or weekly media interviews. The loss of strength of Lions' presence and personality makes me concerned about next year. There's a risk that we could see us fall. Alcott seems to suggest that next year will be better. He'd better be correct, or he's seen us lose one of the best coaches in the game. Keep up all the good work, Ian. Lyon was a superb superb coach throughout our rebuild.
Yep. Thanks for the email. Insightful. Two things I'd like to talk about. Number one, the more I think about it, the more I think the quasi-rebuild wasn't really a rebuild in full, which I think was less palatable for fans over time.
Yeah.
Because we weren't seeing the results because of the influx of trades that were really more of the re-plumb, re-stump, rewire type scenario. The thing about a rebuild is age determines the success of the rebuild over time. So because our rebuild wasn't really a rebuild, I mean, we just drafted like other people did, but we didn't really invest wholeheartedly in the youth. And that's okay because of the guys that we got in.
Yeah.
But I think Ross had more success with the list that we had because of that fact.
Yeah.
Then if you can compare like new teams that were coming through, Greater Western Sydney, Gold Coast started super young. Greater Western Sydney tried to learn a few things, and when they first started, obviously a very young list, but they tried to surround them with experience. But because they were so young, they were just getting absolutely smashed. But it took probably, 4 or 5 years, really, before we start to see what we're seeing now with Greater Western Sydney and how good potentially they could have been. No offense to Leon Cameron, because I think he's doing a good job. But if you put a Ross Lyon right now in charge of that list, they're winning the next, winning the next 3-4 premierships. I think you keep Coniglio. I think, Cameron stays. I think Patton stays because I've got that culture. But going back to, I guess this is my second point, which is the reason why the change was made was because it was like we were just in this endless cycle.
Yeah.
And we weren't really seeing potentially the fruits of what was supposed to be a rebuild when we were just getting more players in. So the solution to that would have been getting more players in. Do you know what I mean? So you're kind of like throwing money at the problem rather than growing your players and nurturing your players. And we did have some of the draftees come through, like your Brayshaws and your Cheras, and we did try playing your Crowdens and your Gyros, but we didn't. I don't think we really developed those guys. Perhaps as I don't know. It's a tough one, but I mean, I don't want to go back and bag anything that Ross did, because I think Ross did an outstanding job.
Yeah.
I think probably a little unlucky with the injuries, and if we hadn't have got those injuries, we make finals easily.
Yeah.
And we could be talking about, finishing potentially in the top 4, given how we were going at one stage.
Yes. I mean, we beat Brisbane.
Yep.
Beat Collingwood.
Yep.
Beat Geelong.
Yep.
3 of the top 4.
Yep.
And when you think Alex Pearce, centre-half back, Taberner and Hogan, centre-half forward, full forward, Lob, Ruck, that's
your spine, mate.
Yeah, your spine and your key structure. And, we talk about it all the time, but, we don't want to see Hamling with the ball in his hands too much. And then you throw in those other guys. I think Ryan plateaued a bit, and they figured out, hey, if we target him, the Dockers are a bit worse off. Wilson had a little bit of a purple patch, but generally has been down. You think Stephen Hill didn't play all year. Sandland's only played half the year. Darcy's been in and out a bit. Things like that really, really do matter as well. The injuries start to mount.
Yeah.
The injuries do start to mount. And I think, realistically, could you say, well, this year, do we go one more year? Do we go one more year? And if the injuries aren't there, how would we go? With our best 22.
That's what I respect about the board, Duck, because the board thought almost like when we tried to go that extra year and then fell off the cliff. It ended up being a wasted year.
Yeah.
And we've got guys like Walters and Fife who are
in
their prime, if not entering their prime. Well, they are in their prime. Sorry, that's wrong from me. They are in their prime right now.
Yeah.
We need to take advantage of that. We need to take advantage of that. So
I think in the end odds as well, but you've got to think, okay, does what coach comes in and is better than Ross Lyon? That's another thing to think about.
No one comes in and is a better tactician than Ross Lyon.
I think
full stop.
Alistair Clarkson. And I would say, look, maybe these guys who are, I don't even think Hardwick or Buckley are better than Lyon. I don't think. I think
you know what?
I think Clarkson.
I think Clarkson with his assistants, yes. Clarkson on his own versus Ross would be different.
Yeah, and
because what makes him is his assistants as well.
And that's the problem as well, is that, we don't know how good the assistants are, yes or no, what's going on. Like, we don't have that privy and we don't know how well they are. But, like, the general feeling and the general consensus around the AFL circles is that they're not that great, But, what do you do about that, So, I don't know, like, I'm just really confused still, man. Like, I honestly, on the weekend, I was like, Ross said the list was thin. Yeah. Like, he's going out there and we got guys playing out there on the weekend that, would struggle to get a game anywhere else.
And it goes to show, obviously, I enjoyed the first quarter because it was a little bit more free-flowing, it was great. But the rest of the game more or less showed why, I guess, Ross's game plan was suitable to the players that he had.
Yeah.
Because just limit, bring the game down a little bit.
Yeah, limit the damage. Win the contested ball.
But having said that, I'll go back to the other thing that was said there. The what I was up and about, I listened to the Alcott. Is it Alcock? It's Alcock. Or Alcott.
Alcott. I think.
I'm pretty sure it's Dale Alcock.
Yeah,
Anyway. I thought his video, that actually got me up and about.
Yeah?
When I listened to that, I'm like, you know what? What I called for from the Purple Patch was I called for transparency between the CEO, the board, and the fans.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that we are part of the process. And when I was listening to, I'm like, you know what? Yeah. And I can tell you that there are other people who are very influential, who can make great things happen at the club, who would be listening to that and going, yeah, let's get around this.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Oz, do you want to go to some more questions?
All right,
now, we've done this classic Ducks forgotten to photocopy
the
piece of paper. So we've got one piece of paper. So if you hear this sound, guys,
it's
me passing it over.
Am I going first?
Yeah, you can go first, mate. There you go. Just hang on to it, mate.
Okay,
Give it to me once you finish.
All right, Chris Thorne. Thanks for another year of great pods and the elevation to club-approved status with the Purple Patch. Is the peel alignment working? It seems the skills of those players have dropped. Is that because they too are playing to the RTB game plan? And is Jones AFL standard?
Well, start off, I think Jones is a good backup. I think he's a solid backup and you need someone like Jones on your list. Mate, Peel, didn't Peel win 2 flags? What year? When was that? And last year, did they make the finals or not?
Yeah, look, they did. I still remember a Sugar Shane Yarran tearing the game apart.
I think they won it in 16 and 17. They won the flags, didn't they?
Against Subi, wasn't it?
Yeah, both times. And then last year, I don't think they made the finals. This year, they didn't make the finals.
No. Is that a sign of the list?
Yeah. Yeah, is it a sign of the guys that are playing down there? But, the Dockers guys seem to be frequently getting best ons. But, yeah, again, the guys that are doing well are Banners, Crowd, and Gyro was down there, And I
think also there's a lot to be said about team harmony and how teams play. If you look at Subi, because they just play together a lot, there's that, you've got that chemistry week in, week out. You've got players coming in, players coming out all the time. Must make it pretty difficult.
Yeah, it does. I think the actual Peel players that are down there as well have got a bit better, like Howlett, Merritt, Ugle, obviously played his 100th game.
Worth looking at those guys?
I don't know, man.
I haven't seen enough of them, to be honest.
I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't mind us having a bit more of a look in our own backyard, but I don't know, with some waffle guys. Anyway,
go.
next one, mate. Warnie. Amazing job on the pod, boys. Thanks so much for providing bona fide Dockers show that we can enjoy. His question is, however, of our middle tier players, who is most likely to take a step up next year and even be an A grader?
Oh, good question, mate. First of all, Warnie, you'll be very happy with the suit I picked up. Delish. Nice checkered blue. Be donning that on Wednesday. Going back to your question, which young fella moving up? Oh, boy.
Who's going to be an A grader next year?
Oh, an A grader? That's a different question to who the young guy's stepping up. A graders. Are we going with a Duff?
So Duff said these guys would B grade plus.
Yep.
I guess if we're looking at the young guys, it's Tucker, Pearce,
Alex
Brayshaw,
Pearce.
Shearer,
If
Darcy.
Alex Pearce has an uninterrupted season, and we know unfortunately he's been injury prone,
Yeah.
structural injuries, I'd say he would be one category, certainly to go up to the A's. Here's something interesting, mate. Griffin Logue.
Yeah.
That's
good.
He's had exponential growth to this point, considering he's been out for, a couple of seasons now?
Yeah.
So this is his first real season back. Managed to last the season when he got in. Really.
Yeah.
He's only going to be better. Does he stay down back? Does he play on the wing? Because ultimately we are going to have a couple of people move. We know this, unfortunately. Well, we don't know it, but it's very likely that we'll lose a couple.
Mate, that's a great call. Logue, I wasn't even thinking about him. That's a great call. Logue to move up into become an A-grade player potentially. Fourth year,
Yeah.
Been around a bit.
Yeah.
I think either him or Darcy, I reckon they'll be the two.
Darcy's a good call.
Because he'll be the number one ruckman, Darcy. So,
Good call. All right, next
No,
question.
don't flip it over,
Don't
mate.
flip
That's
it
your
over,
side.
mate. That's
And then
me.
you pass me the other side. You've got
Okay.
the yellow
How
highlights
about
on
this
your
for a
side.
name? Rueri McDonald. Going to go with that. Really enjoyed this podcast. Well, thank you. A lot of people saying we should take a few high draft picks in exchange for Brad Hill and Langdon, especially if Tim Kelly doesn't want to come to Freo. But would that really be a good thing? Docker's history of first-round draft picks is very poor in the last 10 years, with numerous duds selected. What evidence suggests it would be any different in 2019 if we go down the road of braving the draft lottery? Can we at least pick guys with no significant injury history, as we have enough of those already on the list?
Interesting. Look, I mean, what do you do, don't you? I mean, you look the last 10 years, unlucky with Pitt, unlucky with Morabito.
Can we just go back to when we saw him with Bennell? Oh, mate, if that doesn't get the eggplant emoji out, I don't know what will.
Tommy Sheridan, Hayden Crozier. I mean, Crozier's going all right. He's going to play for Bullies in the finals. Brayshaw and Chera look pretty good. Logue, wouldn't have picked him there, but, he looks pretty solid. Yeah, look, it's pretty tough, isn't it? And, like, the lottery of the draft, what do you do? But, Stephen Hill's a pretty good player, and Nat Fyfe's a pretty good player, so...
Let's hope Stephen Hill slims down. You know what I mean? Like, just get him back to his original... Not his original, but...
Yeah.
Probably carrying a little too much weight.
Oz.
Go.
Quick question without notice
Love
on
these.
trades. Talking to a Demons fan on the weekend.
Yes.
He said Brad Hill and pick. They've got pick 2 for and Angus Brayshaw.
Yep.
For Brad Hill.
Yeah, he's going to
You
St
do it?
Kilda, though, I think.
But would you do that trade?
Yes.
What about Brad Hill and Ed Langdon for Brayshaw, pick 3, and let's say we swap pick 20 and 24 to our second rounders? And maybe they chuck in the third rounder as well.
What? So when you get up three spots?
Yeah, but we get pick 3 as well. And we get a
Yeah,
third
but I already
rounder.
just accepted that for Brad Hill. Why would I do that for,
Be interesting.
Okay, can I just go on the record to say I'd rather bloody keep Brad Hill,
Yeah.
but,
I think
the word that
I
I'm
really
hearing...
think we got to keep either Brad Hill or Ed Langdon. One of those two guys has to stay. Otherwise, our speed and our outside run is going to be absolutely honked,
Oh, boy.
to put it very lightly. Jordan Grilisic, following on for what you mentioned in the previous pod, next season, will you implement question of the week? And at the end of the season, take all the winners' questions of the week and select a question of the year. Got to build some enjoyment off field from our on-field results lately.
You know what? This is a bloody good idea. And Duck is working on the merch. We're sourcing someone out for some designs. We're going to go legit with some merch, and I think we should have some merch up for grabs here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've got all those hats, mate. We can get
Yeah,
get the hats away. It's just hard, like, mailing them, guys, to be honest. It's actually really hard to mail stuff.
Shout out,
And,
Mr.
like, you gotta
Waddell.
get
How
in
you
contact
going?
with stuff and this and that. And
It's not
you know.
cheap sending stuff, mate.
yeah, I
Bloody
know.
hell. Where was- Yeah. Clive Waterhouse. No. Reese Furt Byfield. Had a great look at huge dicks on the weekend. Also, Hugh Dixon looks like he can take a good grab. Thanks for another great year of the pod, lads.
Yeah, huge dicks was fine.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. Taylor Hunt is disappointing to end the season, no doubt. No doubt. But I think our best is obviously good enough. We just don't seem to see it for long enough, and obviously injuries to key guys didn't help our list of our elite talent. How do you rate the season? Does it boil down to pre-buy or post-buy? I'll hang up now and take the question off air. Thanks.
Yeah.
For Gags. But I've got it here, Oz, if you have a look at this sheet. So we played Port Adelaide in round 13.
Yep.
Okay, so we went
Oh, boy.
like this. Win, loss, win, loss, win, win. Loss, 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 win, win. And then we had the bye, in which we went win, 4 losses in a row. Well, we won 3 games after the bye.
Yep.
3 games post-bar, 6 games before the bye.
Yeah.
Probably the number one win there being against
The Cats.
The Cats, in which we belted them.
Look, we've gone through this. Post-buy is horrendous, and that has been the case for the past few years. But I'm going to save my review for the review pod, because we are doing a review pod where we are going to grade and go through the season, and it's the most exciting part of the season for us. October, trade time.
Trade time.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we just go, no longer is October?
What, September was good?
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be good, mate. That'd be great.
You reckon that we'd be able to do a live pod if we made a Grandy? Would we do a live pod from the MCG?
I assume there'd be a bar in Melbourne we could definitely do it from.
Yep.
Bahundi's bar that he always goes to.
Oh.
Mate, Bahundi Williams would be putting us up, mate. We'd be staying at his house.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Free accommodation.
Free com.
Oh,
He'd have us on the couches, mate.
oh mate.
We'd go to the beds, go to the blanket. What is the saying? Yeah, I can't remember. Go to the mattresses.
Mattresses.
That's the mafia going to war.
Yeah,
go to the
okay.
mattresses. All right, mate, you got to read this.
Yeah, go.
That's what you got to do.
Okay, good.
I think it's Clive Waterhouse.
Clive Waterhouse. Love the pod, fellas. Listen to the Sack podcast after Duck mentioned Choco Williams. Great idea. And what do you think it would cost to get him over to the Dockers? Would be worth it. Also, Oz said the Adelaide recruitment guy would be a good get, but didn't we screw that one up? Do you think we should go after him or someone like that? By the way, is Payne the worst captain in Ashes history?
Ooh, so we got some cricket questions coming up, so I'll leave the cricket for the end for those highlighted bits. So we've got some cricket questions, and thank you very much for asking the cricket questions, including, I think Leone said, is Scorch Talk coming back? But just on that, thanks, Clive. Choco Williams, I don't think it'd take much. He seems like a pretty cheap dude, to be honest.
Well, give us something.
What's that?
Give us something. I don't know.
200 grand, I reckon, would
You
get him
reckon?
over here. 200 grand. All his kids are finished school now.
Oh.
So 200 grand, that's a good bit of chicken. Banook, the Adelaide recruiting guy. Now, Eagles have just signed Darren Glass as their list manager.
No,
It's quite interesting.
mate, I'm going to give you a bit of goss here.
Yeah.
I have it on very good authority that someone very influential in the Dockers community knows that should Freo reach out to Banook, I believe he would say, I'm coming over.
He'd come back. Interesting. Very interesting.
I would love to see the Purple Army get behind that. Absolutely get behind it.
All right.
Anyway.
Next one. Max Phillips. Cheers for the pod all season, guys. It's been great. Anything scheduled for the off-season? And who's your tip to win the grand final? And are you jumping on the bandwagon of anyone? So, any plans for the off-season, Oz?
Yep. Well, mate, I'm thinking about a Perth Wildcats pod. And it's probably a good time to talk to you about it, Duck, because I think you could be my wingman on this one, mate.
Mate, I don't know. I don't want to do Perth Wildcats. Get
Didn't
someone else.
stop me doing a footy podcast, mate.
Mate, you can definitely do a Perth Wildcats podcast.
No.
You just got to find someone to talk about Perth Wildcats.
Don't you support Perth Wildcats?
Mate, I don't know.
Mate, it'd be like me coming on your Scorch Talk, mate, and just yelling out 2020 is the future of cricket.
Yeah, but that's
you just provide the banter,
Were you
mate.
ever on the Scorch Talk one? No.
No, because I know shit all about cricket.
I don't have the insight. I don't have any. What do
you mean you don't have the insight?
Okay,
You play...
so
Go.
Oz,
Yeah.
think about this.
Yeah.
All right, you bring the temper. As in like the cool. You cool me down.
Right.
All right. You bring the technical nous.
Right.
All right. I bring a little bit of expertise.
A little bit. You bring a lot of expertise.
A little bit of banter we got back and forth.
Yeah.
Now, take out my expertise. Okay. All of a sudden, you have the expertise. Mate, I'd literally sit here silently and go, all right, Oz, you want to listen to me on basketball?
Yep.
Go back and listen to the very first podcast we ever did together, the Murph and Oz show.
Yep.
All right. And you and Murph talk about basketball, and I say Porzingis' name wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I added. And then I believe I also said Nathan Lyon is an absolute fraud of a cricket player.
Yep.
But we'll get into that later.
Yep.
Anyway, mate.
By the way, that was a
what else have you
precursor
got
to this
planned
pod.
during the off-season, mate? What do you got planned? October school holidays or January school holidays? Anything going on?
Just not working.
Yeah.
I'm really going to enjoy time with the Kiddly Winks.
Yeah.
Put some serious time.
Golf course?
Yeah, golf course.
Yep.
Putting some time into my basketballers. We're heading over to the US at the end of the year.
Nice.
So we'll be doing a bit of a camp. And I would dare say, Duck, trying to learn more about saying 2020 is the future of cricket.
Fantastic.
And I'll be getting around you.
Well, mate, I've got, obviously, a chess tournament coming up tomorrow.
Here we go.
PSA chess tournament. Shout out to Jody and Monkey, who love my chess talk. I've got the CAWA, the Chess Association of Western Australia's. We are hosting the state finals.
Why aren't we podcasting about chess?
Oh, mate, chess, mate. Bishop to C9, baby. Actually, I watch Magnus Carlsen, the number one chess player in the world, and I learned a trick or two
Here we go.
on YouTube. Just always get your pawns in the middle and crowd up the middle.
Yep.
But I got beaten by year 7 the other day, so that's all right. My general rule of my chess club is if I beat you, you probably you're in a bit of trouble.
That's your tryout.
That's the general. But, mate, I've got taking the lovely missus to what we're calling the adventures Honkers and Conkers, mate. We're going to Hong Kong and Korea at the start of January. So that's going to be great fun for about 19 days or something like that. It's 18 days.
Careful of Hong Kong, mate.
Yeah, mate, at the moment I'm like, come on, bloody old, I want to say Chiang Kai-shek. Who's the old... Marzi Dung.
Oh, God.
Come on, Marzi, get in there, mate, and bloody whack some buggers around. Get them, sort them out. Look like the bloody Chinese knew how to sort people out. Bloody hell. All these protesters. Jeez. Mate, some of that footage is bloody mental. Anyway, but going to Honkers and Conkers, mate. And, I don't know, watch a bit of cricket, I guess.
Oh, yeah, and I'm getting around the Wildies.
Yeah, Wildcat.
I got my...
Wildcats.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Who's going to win the grand final? Who's winning the flag?
Oh.
I tell you who isn't. West Coast won't be
Eagles.
anymore.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God. That is one of the all-time...
Did you watch Flying Ryan
Nuts.
running into the open goal and just thought, hang on, that's a Dockery Docker moment. You're not allowed to do that.
Oh, mate. I tell you what, my red hot tip is Eagles cannot play at night time.
Oh.
Mate, think about their losses. Collingwood,
Oh.
Port Adelaide,
Yeah.
Hawthorn.
Yes.
Mate, they only lost a couple of games this year.
Yes.
Majority of them have been at night time. Okay, because
Yes.
it gets a bit and against Richmond when it got slippy. As soon as it starts getting slippy, skills, everyone comes down to the skill level.
Not as silk, perhaps.
And are you jumping on the bandwagon of it?
Yeah. Mate, I got to jump on the doggies again.
Yeah, I like doggies.
Come on, doggies.
But who's going to win it?
Probably Richmond.
Yeah, I think Tigers are a red hot sniff.
Yeah. I just can see Geelong getting there and melting.
Yep. Geelong have got too much tail. Like
Yes.
their bottom 7
Yes.
players are no good. And we saw it against the Dockers.
Yeah.
As soon as their top 3 guys,
Yep.
as soon as Selwood, Dangerfield and Ablett and Kelly and Duncan, those 5 guys there, I know that's a lot to stop, but as soon as they have little influence, which they did against the Dockers,
Yeah.
and it's Dangerfield and Selwood. As soon as they die down, they're no good.
All right, it's me.
Yep.
Piero Colucci. Do you want to take a break or keep going?
Just do this one. We'll take a break.
Okay. It's completely dockery to think that we're approaching the most highly anticipated part of the season for us Freo fans, trading and recruiting. We lose Sandy Ballas and the young lady Shane Kirsty. But is there anyone else we need to offload? Do you know where Stefan Gyro is contract-wise? He's quick, but how does he come back from his knee injury is a concern. And no amount of surgery is going to fix his woeful disposal. And what about the tradies? Bewley and Schultz, skill-wise. Being mature recruits, are they capable of enough improvement to satisfy the new coach who should be focusing on skills rather than just effort? I hope you guys don't abandon us in the off-season. We live and breathe this shit. So you guys better be doing a few podcasts between now and the start of the season.
Yeah, we've got...
Mate.
We've got at least... season wrap-up. We got 3.
Because
season wrap-up.
Kingy. Got to get Kingy.
Yeah, we'll get Kingy on.
Duff.
Yeah, actually, I'll get in contact with Duff, actually.
Yep.
Blakers.
4.
We
That's
might
4.
have 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hey, just to let you know on those things, Gyro is contracted until the end of 2021. Okay? Bewley and... what's his name? Schultz both have 2-year contracts, so they're contracted to the end of 2020. Are their skills good enough? No, definitely not. Is Schultz good enough? No, definitely not. Is Bewley good enough? I wouldn't say either. I mean, for mature age picks, they've both been pretty woeful, to be honest.
I love getting
but
their
they're
hands
hit and
dirty.
miss, mate. They're hit and miss with mature ages.
Yeah.
Okay, these guys are out of contract at the end of the year, mate. Tucker, Mundy, O'Reilly, Langdon, Meek, Nyhouse, Jones, Watson, and North. And
Tobe Watson's a yes for me.
Yep.
Darcy Tucker's a yes for me.
Yep.
Obviously, he's retired. Dylan O'Reilly, we just haven't seen it. We just haven't seen him. So it'd be interesting to see if he gets a rookie contract.
Yeah, I assume they'll keep him.
Yeah. Nyhouse, look, I'll be really disappointed if he doesn't get it. Mate, his disposal efficiency's fine. He's actually quite clean and he plays well when he plays.
Played really well on Robbie Gray.
Mate, just...
Scott Jones.
Oh, sorry, I was going up. My bad. Tom North, yes.
Yeah.
Dave Mundy, if he does, forward, please. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about both Meek and Jones, if we're going to keep Darcy as well.
Yeah. Well, you need depth. You need ruck depth.
Yeah.
Like,
but we got Lob as well.
But Jones and Meek can just ply their trade down in the thing. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything that wrong.
No, but I mean that could be a spot depending on how many we draft, mate. This is what I was going to get to.
Well, I mean, we've got 4 people leaving.
Because I think it's a question coming up.
Ballas, Sandy, Bennell, and Kirsten up the top there, mate.
Yep.
And then we've got the potential of both Hill brothers and Langdon to leave. So that's 7 people out of your club. Like, very rarely will you get 7 in. I doubt we'd make too many other changes. I don't think many people get delisted, to be honest, with those kinds of changes. Which, I mean, as well, potentially losing those 3 and those 7, it does make a thin list look even thinner.
How about this for a left field idea, mate? New coach in, shakes it up with new assistants. Do we give Harley Bennell a rookie contract?
Yeah, I think he's done, mate. I think he's
had the surgery.
Yeah.
Try him out. No.
All right, mate, let's go to a break. When we come back, we've got more listeners' questions. Welcome back to episode 27, season 4 of the Purple Rain, brought to you by Euros and Just Make It Work. Guys, we're on listeners' questions, and we've got a few more to go through, so let's get through them. There's some great questions here as well, and we're going to have a little bit of cricket talk as well. Steph McEachin. Your pod was only recently recommended to me, boys, but I'm glad it was. Great listening. Thanks for you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steph. Where should we be sitting with our expectations for next year? I was quite hopeful for 2020, having our A-grade players available playing a few seasons. But now we have to factor in another period of adjustment or unlearning, relearning. God help us. What do you think? What's the expectation for next year? Early call next year.
Waiting with bated breath to see who the coach is, and what we do at the draft table.
I think
and
honestly,
the trade table.
If we don't lose Hill, okay, this would be my expectation at the moment. If we lose Brad Hill and Langdon, I think that we're actually going to regress a bit because they are our outside run and carry that we need. And unless we got in another fast midfielder and someone with pace on the outside, because I don't think Tim Kelly can play that role. He's an inside guy. And the people, I know someone's got a question about Pepper Power, probably a little bit too slow as well. We need pace on the outside as well as we've got that grunt inside. People forget Fife is a one-man contested beast. You know, we don't need too many more people to go in there with Fife. Brayshaw will develop into that. Hopefully Blakely plays a bit more in that. That's all you need. I think our inside mids are actually not too bad. It's our outside where we need to improve, and it's our skills on the guys on the outside and, you know, a little bit here and there. But yeah, look, with our best 22 on the field, mate, this is the problem. We've got a thin list, but we do have a top-heavy list as well. And with our best 22 with a really good spine, mate, we're a red-hot crack. I think top 8's definitely on the cards and is a red-hot sniff.
Yep. All right, 2 questions to you, mate. You can answer these ones. 1, should Nathan Lyon play for the Dockers? That fumble on a match-winning play was very Dockery. And 2, cheers for the pod, guys. Do you think we may have blown our chance to win the Ashes, and who goes out for Smith?
So let's have a little bit of
Tim Payne goes out for Smith.
Cricket talk, mate. No, look, Tim Payne, I've never been a massive advocate of Tim Payne. He is literally the world's luckiest dude. People are like, oh, no, he's a good captain. Show me his good captaincy, mate. What series have we won under Tim Payne? We beat the Sri Lankans. Cheers.
Quick question for you, Doug.
Mate.
Is the review that egregious?
Yes. It clearly pitched outside leg stump. Clearly pitched outside leg stump. That's automatic, not LBW. I mean, you just got to use your brain. And I understand the desperation, but it doesn't make sense, okay? Because, you know, the run out by Lyon that he missed, which is just a melt, drop cast by Harris, hard. The thing that gave me the absolute irrits is, okay, Hazelwood bowled a slow ball. Pat Cummins and Pattinson did not bowl one slow ball. When you've got a guy, mate, this used to be my favourite thing, all right? Playing in pretty low-grade cricket, people swing from the rafters. If you just bowl the odd slow ball, it literally got so many wickets, mate. I used to bowl this slow ball that my mate Weps developed out the back of the hand, and we started bowling them, and they were so funny because they're so slow. Like, literally, you're like, whoop! Mate, and when we'd get wickets from it, we'd just laugh because it'd be so funny. But when someone's swinging through the ball that hard, you have to take the pace off it every now and again. Just make it a little bit slower. They mistime it that little bit, all of a sudden it's caught. I mean, but fair dukes it was impossible their win. And Ben Stokes played the perfect innings. He just was like, I have to win this game in the next 5 overs. The longer the game goes, the less chance I have of winning, so I'm just going to belt him. And that's all he did. And Tim Payne's captaincy, I thought, was average. And like I said, this was a guy. People forget this, and people listening who are cricket fans, remember this. Tim Payne was not picked for Tasmania as the wicketkeeper. Tim Payne was plucked out of obscurity to play in a Chairman's 11 match in which he scored 60. All right? Tim Payne was going to retire from first-class cricket because he couldn't get a game for Tasmania and work for Kookaburra. He is now the captain of Australia. He's not good enough to be the batsman in that lineup. Okay, Alex Carey is a far superior batsman. He may not be as good a keeper, but he's a far superior batsman. Okay, if the Cricket Australia weren't so high and mighty, and for some reason journalists in Australia think that we're the custodians of cricket, which we are not. It's run by the MCC. It's run by Lords. It's run by the British. That's how it is. And ban Steve Smith and Warner and Bancroft for more than what they should have got, which was one match. One match they got. Okay? They absolutely over-exaggerated it. It was the worst PR display. Steve Smith is a hero at the moment. He's a hero. Okay? Do you know what people in Australia like more than anything else? They love a winner.
And an underdog.
They love a winner, mate. So, Warner scores runs in Australia, which he does for fun. Smith scores runs in Australia, which he does. As soon as they score 100, those guys in Australia against India, which they would have, and we win the Indian series, guess what? We're winners. No one cares. Everyone forgets.
I read somewhere about Smith that he's just even more focused now.
Oh, yeah.
More than ever. And he's got that chip in his shoulder, that underdog mentality. It's a bit scary.
In terms of who comes out for Smith, I think Usman Khawaja just plays too many rash shots. Anyway.
You know what they say,
George
mate.
Talk. Back on, mate.
Sometimes
All
future cricket.
right. Robert Palladino. Hey, guys. Thanks for the show. Everyone's thanking us for the show. It's so great. Really appreciate the last week's special pod as well. I think people did enjoy that. On the weekend, Cam McCarthy had 6 disposals at 16% efficiency. Do you see him in our best 22 or not? Personally, I don't. He's very inconsistent. Next question.
Sorry.
Sorry, just... no. Go with that one.
The problem with Cam McCarthy is that his deficiencies are highlighted in an average-looking team. When you put him in a good team, his deficiencies are somewhat masked. And that's what good teams are able to do. You know, like NBA, you can cover Steph Curry's like a defense, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it looks horrendous. I don't like the commentary of Jared Healy and a few others who are clearly anti-Freo at this point in time. They called us witches' hats. They called us a whole bunch of other things. And I get that. And he slated Cam McCarthy. And I thought, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. But he's a damn good kick for goal.
Yeah.
And he's the most likely looking forward that we've got if we actually kick to him on the lead.
Now, mate, when we, this year, we had 1, 2, 3 games where Cam McCarthy was our leading goal scorer. Not bad.
Did we win those games?
We won... No, we only won 1.
Okay, interesting.
Interesting.
Sorry, mate. What was the second part of the question?
Second part of the question is, what will the board expect of the new coach? Final straight away or give him a year's grace?
No, you can't expect final straight away, although you can expect us probably to move up table, given the list coming back. I'm really excited about who we're going to get coming in. I still think that we have to do the whole WA draft.
Yeah.
We can't.
I like that idea.
We can't put ourselves in the position of players wanting to go home.
Yeah.
Like you just got to be smart. You have to be smart. Players. And I listened to a really good podcast this morning from Bill Simmons. I know you listen to him sometimes, and he talks about the way that how fans view players and player movement and loyalty has shifted markedly over the past 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Where you look at players in the past who leave a team and understandably fans would just boo, and they would you just left your team in the absolute lurch. That the team comes first. Comes first. You're an absolute whatever for leaving. But now Australia's halfway between where the US is with player movement, where they are now, and where we were. So right now, in the US, they're all about player movement and more accepting of it. Andrew Luck just retired from NFL, and he hasn't really reached his prime because of injury. But he did it after the lists have more or less been finalised.
Oh, yeah.
So his team is officially screwed at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Now, there were a few fans that booed him, and he said in the press conference, that hurt my feelings and stuff. But the old school in me says, but bro, you've just killed your team.
It was the equivalent of like Fife retiring.
Yeah.
If at the start of the season next year, Fife came out and he's like, got injured, so let's say, because the thing with Luck is that he did have a lot of injury problems. But like if Fife came out and he was like, look, like he hurt his leg, and he's like, look, I'm done. Like, because Fife's about 29.
Yeah.
About the same age.
Same age. But the weird thing is just the timing of when he did it.
Yeah.
Just it gave his team zero opportunity to cover. So where we are, we're in between. Because, and I'll bring that up, Duck, because there's talk of Brad Hill wanting to go to St Kilda, and there's talk of Ed Langdon to Melbourne. There was talk of Stephen Hill to Gold Coast. There was all, and part of me is like, well, you know what? I'd really like to see the players be successful.
Yeah.
Because I respect what they've done and I respect the player movement. But what I respect more, and what I think teams should probably, a contract has to be worth something.
Yeah.
But with that contract comes the idea of, in our work, if we wanted to move jobs, would...
Yeah. It's not like, oh, mate, you've got to give us two photocopiers and like a couple of bags of footies to get Oz across, Mate, they'd be sending that with me. They'd be like, get rid of this guy. How do we get rid of this clown? All right. It's your question, mate.
Andrick Minolti Cooper. With the Dockers squad being very shallow, should we be looking to get in some players that sit just outside the best 22 of stronger teams?
I don't mind that idea, Coops. Like just some guys that like, say, even a Hamish Brayshaw from the Eagles, who's kind of on the peripheries at the Eagles. Oh, or three, mate, be so good. It's a bit tough, isn't it? Those guys like who's the guy? Shea Bolton at
Richmond.
At Richmond, maybe even a Blake Acres or something like that. I mean, I think
Mason Wood.
You shouldn't set up for players to be injured, and that's the problem, isn't it? Like, it's like there was a famous quote of they had. You guys don't have it was the Colts, and they didn't have a backup quarterback for Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if Peyton Manning goes down, we're buggered, so what's the point? What is the actual point?
Boy, oh boy.
What was that sound, mate?
Yeah, just got an email.
Computer, email. All right, so, do we add a little bit of depth? I don't know, man.
You know what I'm worried about?
What's that?
Worker bees. Need to get the quality in.
Yeah, quality worker base. Thank you, Oz. Samuel Lowry. Okay. Amongst our issues, is ruck depth one of them? If there are injuries to Lobb and Darcy, it seems like Jones is not capable and Meek is not AFL ready. Should we start looking short term for a senior ruckman? I don't know. I thought Jones was all right. Yeah. I didn't think he was bad. I honestly think, Sam,
first game back for a while.
But I think that it's a bit on your list that you can really go cheap on.
Yeah.
We don't need dominant ruckman. And
no, agreed.
Look, if Lobb and Darcy both get injured, like I just said, we ain't in the Lobb and Darcy getting injured business. If they're injured, we're cooked.
It's good, man. That's what I was going to say. Glad you said it. Liam Carter. Any preference for coach? I'm starting to lean towards Sumich due to his connection to WA talent pathways. Also, go after Kelly, etc., or the WA 18s. I think we could most likely get Robertson and Taylor for our first pick, plus Henry for peanuts. Cheers for the pod.
Mate, your thoughts on the WA talent? Like, what's your theory behind getting the WA talent?
Because the WA talent nurtured over here to begin with. You don't get homesick in October. You're playing with guys that you're familiar with when you're young, so you don't have necessarily the issues that first-year players may have in terms of being homesick. You've got a guy that raised them over here in terms of Peter Sumich. I'd like to think he's there and about somewhere. Whether he's an assistant coach, Duck, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, when you have a successful team and that transfers over, and I go back to when the Eagles first started. I mean, look, the Dockers went the Claremont option.
Yep.
The West Coast Eagles went the Teal Cup WA successful team. Boy, were they good. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that that's, I'm just saying that if you've got a successful team that know how to play with each other, there is that innate ability to play with guys that you've obviously shared a championship with, and it means something.
Yeah.
And I know people go, yeah, they're professionals, they move on. But there's something about that.
Yeah.
There's something about that.
Your thoughts on coach at the moment? Who you lean towards, Justin Longmuir or Sumich? It seems to be one of the two.
Justin Longmuir.
I had a whisper today, Clarkson. I was like, give me a break.
Alistair Clarkson.
Yeah.
No.
might be Alex Clarkson, some like local dude. He's
if
my blood comes the go.
If Alistair Clarkson comes across, mate, there would be another emergency pod.
R.I.P. There'd be emergency in my bedroom, mate.
Sponsored by Kleenex. Go!
Nathan Kelly. This is a great question. Who would you like to see Freo have a crack at recruiting in the off-season that do not include the names of Kelly or Cognilio? Is there anyone worth taking a punt on?
No, I still think we keep our draft picks. In fact, your idea works really well. We just trade down, pick up our WA players.
It's your idea, mate. It's not mine.
No, you said to trade down.
Mate, you're the one who said trade down.
Did I?
Yeah, I just took that and ran with it.
Okay, good.
I'm trying to, because I'm like, how do we go from pick 2 if we get that for Hill from St Kilda, or pick 5 or 6 wherever we're at?
You just accumulate your
How do
picks.
we go back down? I think GWS are the ones to have a sniff at, but I think their guys are all points guys, so maybe.
Well, Adelaide are going to pick up Carlton's first pick. Something to consider.
But GWS have pick 11 and 13.
Oh, do they?
Yes. So,
but do they in
pick
their
2
window?
for 11 and 13.
In their window now, would they be looking to?
But they're always constantly rolling over as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, I mean, what would 2 new draft picks be for them as well? Oh no, it's on to you. Sorry, Matt. I'm so used to having my own piece of paper.
Donnie Young, this one's for you, Duck. Does the next coach need to take hold of Fife and tell him to stick forward? We have to develop our key mids at some point, don't we? And P.S. Thanks for the pod this year, boys. A soothing ointment to the itchy rash. That was Freo.
It was classic. Thank you very much. Thanks, Don. That's a great call. Look, I would like to see I think we have to play Fife and Walters, unfortunately, both in the midfield.
71 minutes, mate. Oh. Keep going, mate.
Fife and Walters, both in midfield, maybe rotating.
If we're not going to win next year, Duck, do we save a year of Fife and Walters and move them forward?
Yeah, maybe.
Another year less of... Or 1 year less, I should say, of battering.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I don't know.
Walters got smashed on the weekend, man.
Yeah.
He got smacked.
I think it was open slather.
Chris Masala. I hope our next coach starts with playing talented youngsters, Sturt, Dixon, etc., rather than nuggety types that are Ross's favourite, Crowden and Banfield. Do you boys think the next coach has been selected, and when do you think it will be announced, before or after the finals? We need a head coach for trade periods, surely.
Yeah, look, can I just defend Banfield? I thought Banfield's best game that I saw from him was in a pre-season when he was the small forward tackling pressure beast and he was able to kick goals. I think that's his natural position, Duck. So I'll go to that one. Do we need to play guys like Sturt? Yes. Unfortunately, didn't get a gig this year. Was unlucky with some injuries, some concussions. Tobe Watson was knocking at the door, apparently. He was pretty close. I really liked what I saw from Hugh Dixon, but if you've got Hogan, well, we don't know what's going to go on with Hogan. I mean, that's a serious injury, and we can't rush him back. The full time it takes for that to heal is better.
Yeah.
Don't rush him back. Don't rush him back. But Tabs hopefully will be ready to roll. Lob hopefully will be ready to roll. So there's 2 of your key forwards there. So is Hugh Dixon ahead of Cam McCarthy? You'd have to say no, not at this point.
Yeah. I'd say Cox is actually the third tall in there.
Of course, sorry. Coxie. Yeah, totally forgot about Coxie.
And, mate, you're telling me round 1 next year Sam Sturt isn't playing? No, I know his concussions has probably hindered him a bit in his development, but, mate, he looks like a guy who can play footy. And if we're getting in a coach who likes footy players, like the question asked, then I think Sturt definitely comes in.
Yep. I think you'll find the coach coming in, I think you'll find that he'll play the young guys. Yeah.
Gives you a little bit more leeway as well.
Yes.
Gives you a bit more time to
develop.
develop. All right, last one from you.
Okay. Oh, Leonie Turner. Shout out, Leonie. How you going? Thanks for another great season of the Purple Rain. Love your work. Sunday's game was hard to watch, but when they listed injuries, I thought, goodness, we've got more injuries than players on the field. But best thing about footy is there's always next year. And more importantly, Duck, are you doing a Scorchers pod this year? Mate, the fans are calling for it.
Well, there's only about 30 people who used to listen to it. No,
not the point.
Sorry, Leonie. Scorch Talk is officially RIP. I even deleted the Facebook and the Twitter. It's too hard to do, and it's like too spasmodic, and the podcast only went for 20 minutes, and I was, as you know, with my technical ability, it used to take me about an hour to set up, and then I would record for 20 minutes, and then it would take me, I wouldn't edit, I'd just chuck it up. It wasn't very good sound. It wasn't like this, mate. It wasn't professionally produced like you've managed to do, mate. But, look, there's always next year, isn't there, Leonie? Last question is a very interesting one because it's from Ken Booth, and he talks about...
Booth Dog.
He's talking about Mark Duffield's ratings that he's got here, mate. Duck and Oz. Thank you both for another home and away season pods. Bright spot, which has been a pretty dismal season. Great work. Mark Duffield's weekend analysis of the squad was pretty depressing, but by large, pretty accurate. Reminds me of your traffic light analysis, and don't think I haven't done that. Of his 26 season D's players available for 2020, Banfield, Bewley, Blakely, Carter, Cox, Collier, Crowden, Dixon, Dooman, Gyro, Stephen Hill, Hogan, Hughes, Jones, Logue, McCarthy, Meek, North, Nyhouse, O'Reilly, Schultz, Sturt, Swiskowski, Taberner, Valenti, and Watson. Which of those are going to be in the walk-up 22?
Oh, gee whiz, mate. I think some of these are a little harsh given the injuries. Walk-up 22, Brennan Cox. Going to say Brennan Cox. Going to say Jesse Hogan. I mean, D plus for Jesse Hogan. Why is that? Because he injured his foot?
And the off-field stuff, I think, as well.
Okay, I see that. Okay.
I think little harsh on, of the C guys, Blakely, probably about there. Logue and Taberner, so those three guys.
Sorry, you're including the C pluses.
Is that what he included the C pluses, didn't he?
Did he? He did?
Yep. Yeah, he did.
Oh, well, Blakely clearly. Dooman? I like Dooman.
Dooman makes too many mistakes, man.
Do you think that's because he's still learning the craft, though?
Yeah.
Ethan Hughes, we know what we're going to get with Ethan Hughes. For me, he's a new Lee Spur. You get great effort. He's going to come up with a couple of goals.
How about David Hale's masterstroke playing Ethan Hughes in the forward line?
Yeah. Well.
Sign him up, mate. Head coach right there. I mean, give me a break.
Griffin Loke, walk up. Matt
Cox.
Tabbs, walk up.
I think Switkowski's in the best 22.
Yeah. He did snap a goal. I was pretty happy with that for him.
I think Hogan and Sturt move into our best 22.
Yeah.
Mate, I did this. So this is the team, if you look at Duff's A grades through to C pluses.
Yeah, go.
It looks like this. Ryan Hamling Wilson, Conker Alex Pearce Chera, Hill Mundy Langdon, Tucker Tabs Brayshaw, Matera Lob, and then I've got a blank spot. Darcy Fife Walters, Blakely, Dooman, Hughes, and Logue. Now, it's not a very balanced side, but that's from the A's through to the C pluses. And I think that's the problem, mate, is that we've just got too many guys that are C pluses, unfortunately, that need to move into Bs.
That's the job of the coach, is to move those C pluses to Bs. And, that's the job, mate. Get the skills up.
That's it.
Up and about.
Traffic light's ready to go already.
Mate,
on that note, guys, thank you very much for listening. We'll probably take about, I don't know, a month off Oz. Give it a break for a bit. I've got a bit of stuff going on. Guys, thank you very much once again. This has been a massive year for us personally. In terms of the club, it's been a massive year as well. When you consider the Ross Lyon period is over, the only thing that we've known. The David Hale period, I believe, is also over. I don't think he'll be getting a job after the performance on the weekend. Hopefully we see a much improved Dockers in 2020, and you'll hear from us, I'd say, in October, and we'll let you know on the social media stuff, guys. Stay tuned for my tweets on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, guys. We'll be hitting that up at Purple Rain 95. Thank you very much to the people that are our patrons. You guys know who you are. If you'd like to be a patron, jump online. You can find it out on our podcast. If you'd also like to just donate some one-off money, slide into our DMs and we'll let you know how to do that as well. Thanks very much to Lucas and Martin at Euros and Just Make It Work, guys. If you've got some extra money,
thanks,
I got
guys.
my tax return. If you get your tax return, guys, why not invest it in Lucas, mate? Who can make that money earn you some money?
Yes.
It's a very interesting lane,
Big
mate.
shout out from me to all the listeners as well. Thank you so much for supporting us through thick and thin. Also, big shout out to Luke and Wardy and the crew down at Fremantle for taking a risk on the Purple Rain and hoping that we wouldn't say anything too egregious and outlandish. I thought we've done okay.
Yeah. I thought we did really well with the Ross stuff, man.
Yeah.
But realistically, we produced two really good pods.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the song. That's how long we're talking for.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening once again. And thanks for everything. And remember, subscribe, rate, and review, and tell a friend. And we'll be back for some positive stuff in October, I reckon.
Let's get around it.
All right.
See you guys.